Sale and agreement to sell. The term contract of sale includes both sale and an agreement to sell when ownership in the goods is transferred from a seller to buyer at the time of the formation of contract. The contract is called a sale. When the transfer of ownership in the goods will take place at some future date, the contract is called an agreement to sell. Other formalities. There is no specific procedures to make contract of sale. All essentials of a valid contract should be there in a contract of sale, like capacity of the parties, free consent, capacity of the parties, free consent, legality of the object, etc. Well, this is how we conduct the sale, and as we move ahead, we need to identify the kinds of goods. There are various kinds of goods. Number one, existing goods. The goods which are owned or possessed by the seller at the time of the contract of sale are called existing goods. In other words, the goods which are physically in existence and in seller's ownership at the time of the contract are called existing goods. These goods can be divided into following kinds. A. Specific goods. The goods which are identified and agreed upon the time of contract of sale are called specific goods. In other words, these goods can be clearly identified and recognized as separate things at the time of the contract. B. Ascertained goods. The goods which are identified after the formation of the contract of the sale are called ascertained goods. When a part of the goods lying in bulk are identified and are marked for sale, such goods are termed as ascertained goods. Unascertained goods. The goods which are not identified and agreed upon at the time of the contract of sale are called unascertained goods. Goods in stock are lying in lots. These goods are described by description of sample only. Future goods. The goods which will be manufactured and produced or acquired by the seller after making the contract of sale are called future goods. The seller can only make an agreement to sell the future goods. Contingent goods. The goods, the accusation of which by the seller depend upon an uncertain event, are called contingent goods. In this case, the performance of contract by seller depends upon uncertain events which may or may not happen. Destruction of goods. The effects of the destruction of goods are as follow. Perishing before formation of contract. Where there is a contract for sale of specific goods, the contract is void if the goods have perished without the knowledge of the seller or before making of the contract. However, if the seller has knowledge of the destruction of the goods and he enters into a contract of sale with the buyer, the seller is bound to compensate the buyer. If the buyer has knowledge of the destruction of goods, he has no right to claim the compensation.